Today's topic will be why canister filters are bad and you should feel bad. You can't go wrong with a canister filter. Go get a canister filter. I run 6 canister filters. I'm better than you. You know, like that whole vibe, it just never sits well with me because when I look at myself, other breeders, stores, people that touch a lot of fish, in proportion to the amount of fish they have to canister filter usage is very, very small. Dean's fish room. He runs a small fish room, probably 40 tanks or so. I think he runs 2, maybe 3 canister filters out of all of it. And mostly it's out of a boredom slash, I kind of just wanted to do it. How much bacteria do you need? What kind of surface area do you need for the fish you have? And the response I typically get is like, well, I have 2 canister filters, so I'm not having a problem. But shouldn't we quantify what is wasteful? I think that is an issue. Canister filters in general use more power. In general, they have more flow. And a lot of people go, more flow is better. Like, is it? A lot of fish species we keep, it's not good. They are more expensive, right? And so especially when I run into an instance where you've got a canister filter but a crappy light, or a canister filter but don't own a python yet, or a canister filter but don't have the next biggest tank size up, when I start asking you like, well, is your canister filter top to bottom or bottom to top flow? Oh, I don't know. Well, that's really important the way you're gonna set up your trays in your canister filter, because if you set it up backwards, you're losing so much of that efficiency that kind of crippling the whole reason you would buy one. Why do we need it? Why do you need a can? I got big fish. Why are they so expensive? Because they replaced the system before it, which was a hang-on back. And the hang-on back sells cartridges, and that's a money-making system monthly, right? Well, on a canister filter, one of the big takeaways is like, well, you know, it's better and you don't have to use cartridges. But we still want you to throw away those sponges and those bio rings every 6 months and replace them because they get dirty, right? So it's not in their best interest to make a product that doesn't require this continual money investment. I'm not going to say that there is never a place for a canister filter, but I struggle to find the people that actually need a canister filter. You know, someone's saying, well, that's why you maintenance it. Yes, you maintenance everything in an aquarium, you know, and I could make the same argument though of like, you don't need a filter if you maintenance your aquarium enough, right? I've got tanks that don't run filtration. I have tanks that run a lot of filtration. I have tanks that are wasting tons of money. I have some that aren't wasting any money. Realistically, how much filtration do you need? If you're running a planted aquarium, the answer is probably 0. You probably need no filtration at all to keep your animals healthy because the plants are already doing that. So then it becomes like, well, why do I have all these gadgets? Because it's fun to buy gadgets. 2, the internet told me I need gadgets. 3, I feel safer. 4, it was on sale. 5, because I put things in it. We invest in canister filters. So I feel like canister filter culture, as I'm calling it, is more like we need a vehicle to get to work, and inherently we're recommending buying sports cars because they're cooler and they're better and they're more expensive and I'm cooler for owning one. Getting from point A to B for most people is relatively the same. I need a car that I can put gas in, I need to drive it for 20 minutes, and I need to arrive at my destination. And so I feel the same way about filtration, except when you are 16, so imagine you're new to the hobby, you're 16, right? And you're like, I want to get my first car. And everyone says, you got to get a Ferrari. Just jump straight to the top, man. Get a Ferrari. You'll have no problems. You get to work so fast, right? Turns out you needed a truck because you got a job doing construction, right? By far, the most return filtration is canister filters. They get returned from people not knowing how they work. And they get water on the floor, floods happen a lot, and people get very angry when you flood their house. Like you sell them like, I spent all this money, it flooded my house, nightmare, why would you even sell this? Why would you allow this? And they get overwhelmed. Telling someone to buy that Ferrari from the get-go is a bad idea. Like, no, go ahead, just get yourself in wicked debt, get that Ferrari. You need to know, do they only have $300 to spend? If they've only got $300, then spending 120 of it on a canister filter is a terrible thing to recommend to someone, I think. I would much rather recommend a hang-on back, a sponge, an undergravel filter. I think we need to identify what our needs are. And do we need more biological capacity? First, we'd have to identify how much do we have? And then we might need to identify how much are we short? Well, the one thing we can kind of do a little bit easier is mechanical filtration. I can see the aquarium being dirty, right? I can see it. Could I change and feed a different food from a pelleted food to a frozen food? Could I change from doing a 10% water change every week, I do a 20%. I have no doubt that people that own a canister filter like to own one. You probably wouldn't have bought one if you didn't want to own one. What I am portraying here is that maybe we shouldn't always recommend a canister filter for everyone because of some of the downfalls. And that is like an FX6, 40 watts of energy. Now that might not seem like a lot, like you're going, that doesn't cost that much to run it. You're right, it doesn't cost that much money to run it. What is that, maybe $4 a month? Something like that, maybe? So like, $4 for my fish tank, totally worth it. What about you're running a canister filter and you're running white clouds and killifish and all these cooler water fish, and that 40 watts of energy is adding heat to the aquarium. All of a sudden, that 40 watts, we don't care about the money, but that heat is actually causing your fish stress. We run 2 canister filters. One, purely so we can help educate other people that own canister filters. We're like, here's the inlet, here's the outlet, here's the control. And then I have one on Murphy's tank, which is an FX6 that I got for free from Fluval to run the big sump, right? And so it was one of those things like, well, at free, the value to dollar invested is pretty darn good. There's 2 ways to do a canister filter, and I feel like either one of them's not right. I clean it like every once in a while, right? Like I forget. And then there's like I clean my canister filter every day before I drink coffee. I have the cleanest one. If you're doing that, you may as well just have a hang-on back then. Like, make it just easier on yourself. You don't need all that capacity. But somewhere in the middle might be right, but who's in that middle of like, I'm cleaning it every 5 weeks, I think. I want to be absolutely clear here. I'm not convinced any one type of filter is the perfect one. Just like I'm not convinced any type of car is the perfect one for everyone. Maybe you're in a wheelchair or had a hard time standing for a long time. It could make a lot of sense to have your filter down low as opposed to a hang-on back that you can't reach, right? We should spend some time as a hobby identifying what is it we need. Does 6-inch African cichlids, do they need an Aquaclear 110? Do they need an Aquaclear 50? Do they need an Aquaclear 70? What do they need? Like, I think we can't answer these questions, myself included. I have 26 neon tetras. How much surface area do I need? I would say, I have no idea. Maybe just what's in your aquarium already? Maybe not. I don't know. If I was Fluval, I'm sure I've got a team of nerds that could figure that out. Like, this is recommended, like instead of recommending aquarium or filters per aquarium gallons, we should be recommended per fish load. Like, a way better metric is this canister filter handles 4 ounces of food a day, or 1 ounce of food a day, or half an ounce of food a day. Because that's actually what the canister filter is doing, right? We put food in, bacteria breaks it down into something less toxic, and then eventually we clean it out of it. It would be a much better stat to know that if this was a canister filter and this could handle 1 ounce of food a day, whether it's on my 800 gallon or it's on my 125 gallon, that itself would be much more beneficial to any of us than saying it handles 50 gallons. It handles 120 gallons, right? I think we could do better.
We hope you enjoyed this video. To watch another one just like this, click here.